This is Hot 1240, Hot News Talk Radio. You're listening to Clutch with Keon Rose. That's me. We've got a loaded show today, so I don't want to waste any time. For those of you who tune in for nothing but pure bliss after this show, the glory that is Two Millennials Talk, or sometimes Three Millennials React. I have no idea what we call the thing anymore. The point is, that show is going to be next week. Russell Stroud. So Stroud is not here today, and so that show really doesn't work without him. Quite frankly, I am not as funny without Russell. So it doesn't really work. I don't know. The chemistry there, we need him. And so Two Millennials Talk next Thursday night, not this Thursday night, following Clutch with Keon Rose. Now, boy, there's so much to get into today. So let me just tell you really quickly, make sure to check us out on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. You can do that getting to our website, hotnewstalkradio.com, where you can stream all of our local programming, and you can stream all of our local programming from the TuneIn Radio app. That is the TuneIn Radio app, free on your mobile device. Search Hot News Talk Radio in the app. Give us a favorite and press play. You'll have Hot News Talk Radio everywhere you go. Had to rush through that because I have so much to get to. One being Ryan Lochte. Had to get to Ryan Lochte today because the story of Ryan Lochte, because as you know, Ryan Lochte claimed to be robbed during the Olympics, a story that you could totally believe given all the bad press surrounding the Olympics before, during, and what will probably be after the Olympics. And leading the charge of the bad press on the Olympics has been me. I have done that. I have basically spent the entire week going up to the Olympics talking about how terrible the Olympics were and how Rio was not ready for the Olympics. And you know what? It's true. While Rio wants to defend its reputation, Brazil wants to defend its reputation, closing down this Ryan Lochte story because he said that he was held at gunpoint by some robbers disguised as police. That already happened to somebody. So first off, you're not getting your reputation back on this. However, Ryan Lochte didn't mess with the wrong people. Ryan Lochte goofed. He messed up, and he messed up real bad. Because, and you know it's bad when the Brazilian police full-on investigation into it. Because the last time the Brazilian police launched a full-on investigation into anything, I don't even know when the last time that was. And I have a lot of friends who are from Brazil. And the one thing that they tell you is that people don't trust the police. They don't trust the police because the police don't investigate stuff. And the police are kind of sketchy. And the police are fairly crooked. So if that is the case, when the police decide to step up and actually investigate something, that being the case, then you know you messed up. They've got pride on the line. The Brazilian police have never investigated anything as thoroughly as this Ryan Lochte story. He's not going to get away with saying that Rio is as incompetent as they are. And by the way, I have a testimonial, and your testimonial is a complete lie. His robbing it's a complete lie. It's a complete fabrication. Like, the more that story gets picked apart. And the first thing I have to say about Ryan Lochte is I'm really glad that he chose professional swimmer as a job. Because if Ryan Lochte picked gangster or mobster as a job, he'd be in jail. How fast did those guys turn on Ryan Lochte? Were they snitching on him right when they were taken from the plane, or did they manage to make it all the way to the police station first? They turned on him so fast. Well, now listen, guys, you're not going to be able to travel if you don't tell us the truth. Yeah, Ryan did it. Okay. Wait, what? Yeah, no, Ryan did it. He totally did it. He said he told us to lie. I mean, they turned on him faster than Judas turned on Jesus. Like, the betrayal was not just thorough, it was quick. Like, I don't think they even threatened them with anything yet. Like, these guys were just like, look, it's not even worth the headache to keep up this facade. And they turned on Ryan Lochte, who is doubling down on his BS. Like, he is doubling down on it. He is absolutely certain that they were robbed, even though you've got video of them returning back to the Olympic Village, and they're returning to the Olympic Village. Nobody is hurt. Nobody looks scared, sad, worried, traumatized. In fact, they seem to be kidding, joking, and laughing. I mean, if a lie ever blew up in a person's face, it doesn't even look good. It didn't make it past the scrutiny of a day, which is absurd. And what makes it more ridiculous is it never had to happen. The lie didn't even have to occur. According to the reports, Ryan Lochte and some of his U.S. Olympic swimming teammates went out. They enjoyed their time in Rio. I assume that they got drunk just because the behavior and the ideas that they had are the ideas of people who are either drunk or stoned or both. And they stopped at a gas station, whereupon they destroyed the door somehow, possibly through drunk thinking, and then peed everywhere. They just urinated all over the bathroom. Okay, which you know, the gas station owner just gets upset. It's vandalism. They come to an agreement with the guy. They pay him off. All right, he wants money in exchange for what it is that they've done. That's how they managed to miss the money. They weren't robbed. They gave it away to the guy in exchange for the vandalism that they had perpetrated on his gas station. And then, after having covered it up, created a bizarre lie about being robbed anyway. You were going to get away with it. You were going to get away with really bad behavior, guys. You were going to get away with really immature, childish behavior. And Ryan Lochte somehow convinces the other two guys, like, this is a great idea. And how do we know it's Ryan Lochte's idea? Well, first off, they turned on him. They turned on him really quick and just gave him up. So either they really don't like him or it was his idea. But more importantly, in the story of the robbery, Ryan Lochte said that there was a gun pointed directly at his head. He said, I'm not getting down on the ground. I told that guy, whatever, man. I told that guy, whatever. And then he took my wallet, took my money. And how you know that's Ryan Lochte's idea is he made himself the hero of the story. He made himself that tough guy, tough as nails. I'm not going down. I don't. Like, no, I didn't do anything wrong. I'm not getting down there. You're gonna have to shoot me. I mean, he made himself the center of the story. It's like when children tell stories. My little brother, I'm gonna put him on blast a little bit here. My little brother used to write stories, and he would write fantasy stories. Really smart kid, and he would write them. He was in middle school when he was writing them, and the main character of the story would always be a kid around his age, fitting his description. He kept writing himself into the middle of the story. And that's what people do. When people make stories, typically, what separates a great writer from just a decent writer is a great writer can imagine somebody else as the center of a story. The rest of us just kind of put ourselves in the middle of it. Like, yeah, no, we got to be the awesome people here. And that's what Ryan Lochte did when he told that story. Ryan Lochte was the most awesome thing that happened in that story, except that story did not actually occur. And also he's a bad person because he vandalized some guy's gas station and then lied about it. And yes, the guy, when he came to yell at them for vandalizing his gas station, he did have a gun, but according to Rio police, he did not draw the weapon. So there was no gun anywhere. And by the way, Ryan Lochte has gone into another interview. He was interviewed by Matt Lauer, and he has walked back some elements of the story now. I mean, this whole thing is a mess. Just a giant Ryan Lochte-sized mess. And this is the most hilarious thing that's happened. Like, I could talk the entire show about Ryan Lochte and the mess that this story is, and how maybe just tell the truth, right? Like, there's a reason why your mom and dad tell you to tell the truth, because a little lie turns into a gigantic monster, and he cannot control this thing anymore. He's already a joke. The faster he tells this story, the faster we can just embarrass him and then move on. I'm not pro embarrassing people, but since it's going to happen, right? Like, look, we've already forgotten about Draymond Green and Draymond Green taking a picture of little Draymond Green. And just let it happen. Don't say you were hacked. Just say, you know what? I pressed the wrong button on Snapchat. Why was I Snapchatting myself in that way? None of your business. You know why. Why didn't I do this over text? Also none of your business. You're asking too many questions. And let it go. But no, Ryan Lochte had to come out here and tell lies of the most hilarious sort. And I've never seen a thing blow up in a person's face quite like this is blowing up in Ryan Lochte's face. You're listening to Hot 1240, Hot News Talk Radio, Clutch with Keon Rose. I'm going to switch gears over here because I want to talk about Nick Saban some more. Nick Saban and Maurice Smith. If you recall, Maurice Smith is the young man that wanted to transfer from Alabama to the University of Georgia to follow Kirby Smart. He had graduated from Alabama, and Nick Saban denied his transfer, and it became a gigantic story. Maurice Smith claimed that people took stuff from his locker and threw it in the trash. He felt ostracized from the team, all of this stuff. And then finally, Greg Sankey, the commissioner of the SEC, granted his transfer, even though coaches don't like it when you transfer inside of the conference. And Nick Saban had a whole thing with Maurice Smith. He met with Maurice Smith and Maurice Smith's mother, and what ended up happening was Nick Saban ended up storming out of the meeting, and just a ton of stuff happened. It's possibly the most needlessly dramatic thing that ever happened there, all because Nick Saban is a stubborn man that wants to follow unwritten rules of SEC football, which is that you don't transfer inside the conference. And I get that, but also the idea that you can somehow restrict where a person goes to school and where a person chooses to get their further education merely because you don't want to play football against them, or you don't want them to take information that they learned playing football with you and take it to another coach somewhere. All of these things seem preposterous to me. You shouldn't, the football is somehow exceeding everything else. And when you say someone is a student athlete, you put the student first so the athlete can be second. But no matter what, every time we hear stories like this, the student gets treated poorly because they are an athlete under the disguise of the fact that they're a student. And that's just silly. How can somebody tell you where you can go to school? He graduated. He wants to go to another school to get his graduate degree, his master's in something. How can you tell somebody where they're going to go and get their master's? Like, how can you really do that? That shouldn't even be possible. You're telling somebody where they can go and get their master's degree because you coached them once in football. It's a preposterous system, and it's why I call it faux amateurism. It's clearly, like, these decisions are clearly being made because they're making somebody money or they're going to lose somebody money. The athletes aren't seeing any of that money, and yet everyone's making decisions for them. I call it the worst of both worlds. You're student enough to have that used against you. Like, now you're a student. We're teaching you things. You have to do what we say. But you're not athlete enough to get paid. You're athlete enough to put your body on the line. You're athlete enough to sacrifice your body. You're athlete enough to use time that you could be studying for biology to study your playbook. You got to do all that stuff because you're a student athlete. But no, we're not going to pay you. And yeah, we're going to tell you what to do. How does that make any sense? And how is that even remotely allowable? Which is exactly why Greg Sankey allowed the transfer. Because when you start to have coaches like Nick Saban have a little bit too much power in these decisions, the farce of what is amateur athletics starts to become very, very obvious. Like, that is the most obvious situation. And you can't say this person is a student athlete, this person, we're here for their well-being, we're here for making them a better person, and then tell them, nah, you can't go to school where you want to go to school. What? That doesn't even make sense. So the story kind of develops a little bit more. Nick Saban is on ESPN because all coaches eventually do the car wash, which is basically you start in the morning and you do a bunch of interviews with every show on ESPN. You start in the morning with Mike and Mike, and then you go through all the radio and TV shows at that network until the day is over. And they have exhausted you of all of your energy and hopefully of all of your answers to questions. And so Nick Saban had some questions over Maurice Smith, and he basically said that, this whole situation is causing him to lose sleep, which I find to be disingenuous, if not somewhat laughable, because Nick Saban said he failed Maurice Smith. And the reason why he said he failed Maurice Smith is that he doesn't know exactly why. He failed Maurice Smith somehow. Here's the quote from Nick Saban. We've got 53 players in the NFL and a whole bunch of other ones who aren't in the NFL and are very successful. But what I lay awake at night and think about is, where did I fail a guy like Maurice Smith? What didn't I do, or what could I have done better? Which is disingenuous for a couple of reasons. Reason number one being, you didn't fail Maurice Smith while Maurice Smith was a student at Alabama, obviously, because he seems to be a pretty good football player. And also, he graduated. He got his degree. You didn't fail him. If there was a point where you failed him, if there was, you failed him by not allowing him to go to school to further that education where he wanted to go to school. But I would argue you just didn't fail him at all. He graduated from college. He's on his path to be a very successful person. Graduating with a bachelor's degree raises the amount of money that you can make exponentially. And then if he graduates with his master's wherever else, understand that Alabama was the beginning of all of that. He gets to raise the amount of money that he can make as a professional even more, even if he doesn't ever make it to the NFL. He's already on the path to success. You didn't fail him. But this is where football can be blinding. And we have a system set up where coaches are putting the notion of, why didn't the guy want to stay at Alabama? What could I have done better to make him stay at Alabama, over that guy graduated with a degree and he's going to try and get a higher degree somewhere else? What if you didn't do anything wrong? What if Maurice Smith simply liked what Georgia was doing better academically for his degree? What if that's all it was? What if Maurice Smith simply developed a meaning relationship with Kirby Smart and wanted to play for Kirby Smart? You know what that means? That means that he's a healthy adult that has a relationship with someone in a position of being a superior over him, whom he is willing to go play with. By all accounts here, Maurice Smith is actually a very successful individual, and the notion that he's leaving Alabama means that Nick Saban failed him somehow also seems to suggest that Maurice Smith is, in some level, not successful, which is crazy when you think about it, because you've got Cam Robinson suspended for one game for riding around in a car with a bunch of weed and guns. Okay, especially a gun that's not registered to anybody and a gun that appeared to be stolen. And your idea of let's teach this guy how to be successful, let's suspend him for a game. Let's just suspend him for a game. The fact of the matter is, Nick Saban or any other college coach, because I'm calling out Nick Saban right now because, foot being planted firmly in mouth, that's all he's doing right there. But it's not just Nick Saban, okay? Because we've seen it happen with guys like Hugh Freeze, okay? We're seeing it happen with Dan Mullins. We've seen the situation at Tennessee where Butch Jones is getting a courtesy call from the officer. Like, none of these things are to help these guys get better. All of these things are to help you all win football games. That's all it is. And each and every one of you is hiding behind the idea that you are helping these young men be better. And that's not to say that football doesn't teach you great lessons and help you be better, because it does. We have a lot of youth football in the Chattanooga area. We have a lot of great coaches doing great things, promoting teamwork and unity. I'm not bashing football as a teacher. I'm bashing college football coaches making 7 figures as teachers. Your 7 figures means that your job is to make the university look good. And you can't make the university look good if you out here losing. And that's what concerns you. And that's why Maurice Smith wasn't able to transfer. And that's why Nick Saban cannot see Maurice Smith's transfer as the success that it truly is. Because not being completely blindly loyal to Alabama is a failure in his eyes. And that, among other things, is the real failure here. You're listening to Hot 1240, Hot News Talk Radio, Clutch with Keon Rose. We've got more to get into. Usain Bolt is a beast, and I talked about it earlier today. He's the greatest Olympian ever. Turner Field is being sold. Find out to whom. And is the gold medal worth more than an NBA championship? DeAndre Jordan thinks so. Clutch with Keon Rose on Hot 1240, Hot News Talk Radio.
I'm blowing everything up. We're starting over. I'm doing a new show. I want guys who push it to the middle of the table and go over the top. Take a risk, fail miserably. I'm right, and I'm not wrong, and I'll never back down. Conflict works. Allow it.
It's The Herd with Colin Cowherd. Right here and everywhere. Noon Eastern.
You give us 12 minutes and 40 seconds. We'll give you Chattanooga and the world.
News Talk 1240.
I'm Larry Daniels from Daniels Insurance, and on the average, our customers save $400 a year. We offer retirement vehicles and annuities in addition to other investment products that help you protect your family. Call 423-332-4774.
This is Mike at For the Record at Northgate Mall. We're the largest complete record store in town. We sell old and new vinyl records, celebrity posters, music posters, and we are the largest in town. Come see us.
Finding just the right place to live can be a daunting task. Stop your search. In Chattanooga, the place to live is Cross Creek Villas for under $1,000 and available for immediate move-in. You can enjoy this 2-bedroom split layout, over 1,000 square feet, 9-foot ceilings, an extra large patio or balcony. And don't forget to ask about their preferred employer program. Cross Creek Villas is a gated community offering a 24-hour fitness facility, a beautiful pool and hot tub, and Cross Creek Villas is pet friendly. Stroll the pet park with your best friend and enjoy the free use of their business center and clubhouse. Plus, if you mention you heard this on the radio, your application fee is free. Cross Creek Villas, close to downtown off of Highway 58. Go to crosscreekchattanooga.com. That's crosscreekchattanooga.com or call 894-0446. That's 894-0446. Redefine the way you live at Cross Creek Villas. Go to crosscreekchattanooga.com or call 894-0446. Cross Creek Villas.
A few isolated showers and storms will continue through the nighttime, diminishing after midnight, lows 70 to 72 with some late fog. For Friday, another round of scattered afternoon showers and storms will move back in from the west. Highs of around 90 with scattered showers and storms likely for the weekend as well. Staples has everything you need for back to school at low prices, period. From backpacks to binders, notebooks, folders, and Post-it notes, they have it all. Make low prices happen. At Staples, make more happen. And I'm Source Sheen 12's Chief Meteorologist Patrick Orr.
On AM 1240, Hot News Talk Radio.
You give us 12 minutes and 40 seconds. We'll give you Chattanooga and the world.
News Talk 1240.
All systems go.
Got a printing project on deadline? Advantage Printing in Brainerd offers the highest quality one-stop service in Chattanooga. Graphic design, printing, addressing. Don't create a mailer unless you first check with Alan about the latest postal hassle. He'll handle the whole thing for you. Advantage Printing. Your advantage is in our name. 4031 Brainerd Road next to the Bilo. Print digital or offset, wide format, engineering drawings, start to finish. Advantage Printing. Check the details with Alan. 629-1800. That's 629-1800.
All systems go.
Treat yourself and your vehicle to a sparkling shine inside and out at Country Boys and Toys. 9606 Dayton Pike, Soddy Daisy. Remember how it felt the first day you brought your new ride home, clean as a whistle, with that new car smell? Well, you can enjoy it again and again, over and over now, with auto detailing from Country Boys and Toys in Soddy Daisy. Call 309-0426. That's 309-0426.
Here comes Dale Earnhardt Jr. He's got third. He's going for second. Earnhardt going for the lead.
The NASCAR Sprint Cup Series is on the Motor Racing Network.
Hot News Talk 1240.
Hear it live on the Motor Racing Network, the voice of NASCAR.
Check it out live on Chattanooga's official NASCAR radio station.
Hot News Talk 1240.
You're listening to Hot 1240, Hot News Talk Radio. Clutch with Keon Rose, which, I don't know, we're working on the jingle, okay? We're working on some kind of sound to let you know that it's time for the Clutch Community Corner here on the show.
Was that good enough?
That'll work for now. That's our fill-in sound there. But we're on the phone with us in the Clutch Community Corner today is Anna Baker of the United Way Volunteer Center. And we're going to be talking about what United Way is up to here in the Chattanooga community.
Awesome. So, hello, everyone. I am Jay with Clutch Community Corner. And today, as Keon said, we have the fantastic Anna Baker from United Way Volunteer Center, actually. And so, I guess we'll jump in. Anna, how are you today?
Doing well. How are you guys?
Fantastic.
Very good.
A little excited about the rain. I wish we could send it to California with all the fires.
I know.
So, Anna, if you can do us a favor, United Way has a volunteer center. Can you tell us a little bit maybe about what United Way is for those who don't know? And then specifically about the volunteer center.
Okay, so we see United Way, at United Way, we see United Way as a hub and as a convener. So United Way basically is the hub of education, stability, and support in the greater Chattanooga area. So it's almost like a think tank. You know, we are the convener of all these nonprofits in the area and the government, schools, everyone who is trying to figure out how to make Chattanooga the best possible place to live, work, and play. And the meetings of the minds just happen at United Way. You know, we're working on all of these issues, especially issues around education, stability, and support. So that's kind of like the big picture. But then there are so many different cool programs that United Way has, and the Volunteer Center is one of those. But we support programs throughout 13 counties and just throughout the greater Chattanooga region.
Oh, wow, that's huge. So, okay, if I'm understanding you correctly, you are a large-scale nonprofit kind of, well, actually, I should ask you this. Do you work with only nonprofits, or do you work with for-profits? Do you work with anybody and everybody? Is that different?
Well, that's interesting because so United Way is working with lots of for-profits in the community because these for-profits sometimes have seats at the table. They want to be part of the change that's happening in Chattanooga as well. So they are contributing resources. They're contributing employees to help figure out what we can all do better to make Chattanooga better and to solve some of the big problems that are going on in the community. So we work with, everyone has a voice basically at United Way. So we do work with nonprofits and for-profits, and like I said, government and schools. So it's interesting in that way. But with the Volunteer Center, I work a lot. Well, I work with all of those, but I work with the nonprofits to help them develop impactful volunteer opportunities for the community. So in that way, I work, with the nonprofits. All these volunteer opportunities that are going to happen on Day of Caring that we're going to talk about in a minute are, of course, at nonprofit organizations.
Cool. So, guess we got to reset here for a second.
Absolutely. You're listening to Hot 1240 Hot News Talk Radio, Clutch with Keon Rose. This is the Clutch Community Corner. And joining us on the phone is Anna Baker of United Way, the Volunteer Center. And we're going to talk about the Day of Caring.
Yes. So right before we jump into our conversation about the Day of Caring, I'd just like to ask you, Anna, what can you tell us about your experience with the United Way? Obviously, this is a pretty big deal. So what's that like for you?
What's the hype?
Yeah, with you, how do you feel about it?
Well, so let me tell you, I actually started with United Way as a volunteer. I worked in the 211 call center a little bit. Just one day a week, I helped out there because I knew that I wanted to work in a nonprofit organization. I wanted to, help make the world a better place. And so I was young and I was trying to figure out how to go about doing it. And so I started with United Way over a decade ago.
Wow.
By volunteering in the 211 call center. And the 211 call center, just like the way a lot of things at United Way can be described. It's like, it's a hub, it's a convener. What 211 does is it's the place to call when often people who are underserved, they can call 211, and 211 can help connect them to the resources they need. So whether that's food or help paying an electricity bill or whatever people need help with, 211 helps connect people to that. And so I got to see a lot of what United Way and nonprofits in the community were up to when I volunteered there. So while I was there, I also saw what the volunteer center did. I saw a little bit of that just by being around it, just by being in the building, you know, and I thought it was such a cool thing, even though I didn't completely grasp exactly the extent of it at the time.
Yeah.
I just thought it was a cool thing. And Wendy Brooks was the director of the volunteer center at the time, and she's just wonderful and does all kinds of great things in the community. And I just thought I wanted to be a part of it. So I ended up being a volunteer coordinator at another wonderful nonprofit. And then I ended up at United Way. So
that's super cool.
As you can tell, I really believe in what United Way does.
It's like the ultimate hero home story. You know, small town hero, grows up, goes away, comes back the champ. Right, Keon, in your sports world, isn't that pretty typical?
The hometown person. Like, it's sort of like LeBron James in Cleveland. You grow up there, you stay there, you work there, you win a championship there. Something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah.
So, Anna, can you tell us a little bit about this Day of Caring? This sounds fascinating and exciting. And what is it?
Day of Caring is probably my favorite day of the year in this position, because it's the day where action happens. Like, so much action happens across Chattanooga and really the whole region, because it's a day where we could have hundreds and hundreds. I'm thinking 700 if all of these projects get filled. 700 volunteers, all volunteering, you know, on the same day and helping these nonprofits with the projects that they really need help with. And we can really make a difference in this one day. Some nonprofits are waiting for this day to happen so that their needs can be filled. You know, they might be waiting for a room to be painted, or for some steps to be built, or these children to be read to. There's some really cool projects that have been submitted by the nonprofits, and we had more projects than ever before submitted. We had 75 projects submitted this year. So there's the potential to do great things and to make great change happen in one day.
That's super exciting.
Oh, that's September 8th, by the way. September 8th.
So September 8th, Day of Caring. Okay. So what I'm hearing is there's so many really cool things that people can get involved in. And here at Hot News 1240, we
are going to be involved in the Day of Caring again, September 8th. You're listening to Hot 1240, Hot News Talk Radio. Clutch with Keon Rose. We're talking to Anna Baker of United Way, the volunteer center, on how could somebody get involved in the Day of Caring? Like, where would they find all of that information?
Yeah, great. So right now the projects we're keeping the projects open to groups. So if you have a group of people that want to volunteer together, then I will get this list to you and you can choose what project you like. And then probably about a week and a half before the day, we're going to put a few of the projects, we're going to just open them up to individuals. So if you don't have a group, we'll put a few projects on the Volunteer Center's website, which is called ihelpchattanooga.org. That is ihelpchattanooga.org. And those projects will be on there so that you can see a variety of projects and see which one that you want to be a part of as an individual. Or if, you know, it's you and a few of your friends, or you and your kids, you can sign up and just go to that project.
Fantastic. So it sounds pretty organized. Great job, volunteer coordinator. Super quick question.
The first year it's been open to individuals, actually, and so we're really excited about moving in that direction, because we do want everyone to be able to be involved, not only corporations or groups of people. You know, so if you're just an individual and you want to be a part of it, we want you to be a part of it. And so right now, like I said, you know, you guys are going to sign up as a group, and then we'll have individual projects as well.
That's super exciting. So Anna, I guess question I have for you, being that you've been with United Way for a while, you've kind of seen this Day of Caring, this Christmas type of thing for these nonprofits, if you will. What is one of the greatest success stories that you can think of from the Day of Caring? That you, maybe a really successful project or really grateful partnership? What's one really big success story from the Day of Caring that stands out in your mind?
Okay, so a couple years ago, there was a group who, they're a group in town, and they hadn't really been involved in any kind of community work before. And they went over to signal centers and saw firsthand. They ended up helping. These were some skilled people. They ended up helping in assistive technology at signal centers.
Wow.
And once they did that, they became so involved, and they started not only volunteering regularly there because, it's making that connection. It's making the connection and really seeing what we have going on in Chattanooga. And once you see that and are a part of it, then I think you're changed. You want to be part of making great things happen. And so that literally happened for this group. And they became involved in this program at signal centers. And it's just been a love story between all of them. But we have some really, it just kickstarts some great relationships also. There is another corporation that is going to kind of get their relationship with the Chattanooga Room in the Inn started.
Wow.
They contacted us and said that they wanted to do their Day of Caring project there. But then they decided they don't want to just do a Day of Caring project there. They want to volunteer there every month. And so they really want to make that nonprofit their special partnership. And so what you can see, I think, from kind of a bird's eye view from the volunteer center is that's what is really impactful, is when it's not only this one-time thing, but when what's supposed to be a one-time thing turns into this great partnership. And that's when people, organizations, corporations, whatever they are, when they really start investing, and that could just be time, just investing a relationship, or it could be investing funds, any of those things. That's when impactful things really happen, because you can get deep and you can really get an understanding of what's going on. And that's where I see that change is really made. So that's what's really cool about Day of Caring, is not only that it's one day, but that it can start, a great relationship.
So Anna, I think that's fantastic. I think it's also super fantastic that, like you described, you get that bird's eye view picture to kind of see what's happening from a ground level in our community. And I guess I want to say thank you. Thank you for being willing to follow through with that passion and to let us know about this. Thank you for volunteering your time to be here with us tonight. And I guess
thanks for having me.
In closing, anytime. I'd like to ask you one last question, though. Super short, because I know we're up here on the time. But I guess it's two questions. I'm cheating. Number one, what is one thing that you would like our listeners to take away from this conversation? And last question, okay. I'm just going to throw them both at you. I know that's terrible, but I'm going to do it. Last question. Again, can you remind us of what platforms we can use to get in contact with you for the Day of Caring?
Great. These are the exact same things I wanted to talk about. So what I would love for people to take away from this is get involved. Just at least try. And you can try by being part of Day of Caring on September 8th. You can contact the volunteer center and get involved as an individual. And the best ways to get in touch with the volunteer center are to email me. So it's annabaker@uwchat.org, or just go to ihelpchattanooga.org, the website that will tell you all you need to know. And then another great way to get involved, and this is something I really want to challenge people to do, adults in the community, anyone over 18. We are at United Way. We have a huge mentoring initiative that we're pushing along with the city of Chattanooga. Mentoring is a really great way to positively impact kids in our community. And we need it. To get Chattanooga to the place we want it to be, it's going to take this kind of thing. And sometimes it's really hard to know, what can I as one person do to make a difference? And I think mentoring is a great way to do that. So that's another way to get involved as a volunteer. So there's Day of Caring. There's being an individual volunteer, contacting me and telling me what you're interested in, and I can connect you to a place. And then mentoring, it's so important, and that's something I can connect you to as well. So email me, annabaker@UW, as in United Way, chat, CHATT.org, or go to our website, ihelpchattanooga.org.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Anna. And we look forward to connecting with you on the day of caring.
We're going to have so much fun together. Thanks so much.
I know. You're awesome. Can't wait.
We're pretty excited over here for
All right,
it.
talk to you later.
Bye.
Thanks, guys.
You're welcome. Bye. That was Anna Baker here on Hot 1240 Hot News Talk Radio. Clutch with Keon Rose on the phone with us from United Way, the Volunteer Center, to talk about the Day of Caring on September 8th. And, there's a number of ways to get involved. You can email her, Anna Baker, at uwchat.org.
It's Anna with 2 N's.
That's important. That is important. Anna with 2 N's.
And then
Anna Baker.
ihelpchattanooga.org.
And I help
Pretty exciting, yeah?
Yeah. So we're gonna be there. You can come out. You get to see the Hot News Talk Radio crew on the Day of Caring, and also be involved in uplifting the community yourself. And also, Anna mentioned something in the interview that she worked in the 211 center. And
I love to. Can I just take like 15 seconds, 5 seconds, 2 seconds? 211 is like 911 for, I used to say social services, but like anyone, like when you just need that assistance, like I used to get 211 cards, I still do, and give them out to people who are on the side of the street. A lot of people don't want to give money to the guy who's got the cardboard sign, right? But you can give a 211 card and they can use that hopefully to get connected to any resources that they would need. Whether you've got a cousin who's out of a job randomly, or, you just can't make your light bill this month, or your child is acting out and you think you might need some mental health services or school or whatever. And that's why I love 211. I've used it before just to get stuff, resources. Great. It's a great resource.
And there are a lot of people who need it and don't know what it is. And I think a good example of this is Laramie Tunsil, who was at Ole Miss, got drafted, and sort of mentioned on draft day that he took money from his coaches, which is against NCAA rules. And he would not have had to violate NCAA rules because what he took the money for was to help pay his mother's electricity bill, which had they been aware of 211, they would not have had to do in that way. And so like there are resources out there to help you. And, if a guy like Laramie Tunsil, who is NFL bound, does not know, then it's a good chance that a lot of people don't know and need that particular resource in mind. So there you go.
Yeah. Well, again, Keon, thanks for having us here at the Clutch Community Corner. And I look forward to finding out who our person will be for next week.
Exactly. And hopefully by then, though probably not, we'll have a jingle. some kind of sound. Something like that.
Okay, I try.
I don't know. Can we just record that and just play that back as the jingle?
Thanks again.
It's the Clutch Community Corner. All right. So we've got a little bit of time left of the show, and I really want to get to some of this news here because there's just a couple of news stories that I really want to get to. One was that right tackle Chance Hall, he injured his knee. He will not be starting on opening day. It was a non-ACL injury, though, so it could be anything else. Hopefully not a meniscus or some other part of the joint. But non-ACL knee injury, so possible return this season. Also, Turner Field has been sold. Okay, this is the Braves' last season at Turner Field in Atlanta. The Braves will be moving out of Atlanta to play at Sunkist Park. And you know what? I'm interested in this Turner Field situation because the Braves are leaving Turner Field. And what the Braves are leaving Turner Field with is a lot of losing. Like just a lot of losing. And then I saw, they're going to sell the stadium to Georgia State and some partners. And I'm going, okay, Georgia State, never heard of them before. As a football school, what does Georgia State do? Maybe Georgia State's like one of those Division II schools that you never hear about, but they win lots. Like North Dakota State. Like nobody heard about North Dakota State or was paying attention to North Dakota State unless you A, lived in North Dakota, or B, were following the NFL draft and were suddenly aware of the existence of Carson Wentz. Because outside of that, we were not paying attention to North Dakota State. And I thought, well, maybe Georgia State could be like that because I've never heard of this school playing football before in my life. No, Georgia State just started playing football like 3 years ago. The football team got founded in 2013. And It's been a slow climb to respectability for them. Their head coach is Trent Miles. I looked at him and I was like, man, I don't know if this guy's a good coach. I don't know if his record's any good. He's got a record of 7-30. But when you're building a school up from, oh yeah, they just started existing 3 years ago, yeah, that'll taint your record a little bit. But they've been improving every season that he's been a head coach. His first season, they were 0-12, didn't win any games. Second season, they're 1-11. And then third season, 6-7. 6-7 is a light warp of a jump from 1-11. Georgia State going to play at Turner Field. We might see a team in Turner Field next season finish with an above 500 record. They're going to convert the baseball field into a football field. It'll be a football stadium now. But we're going to see maybe winning football at Turner Field. We'll see some team out there winning. Because you know what? And I don't want to rub salt in the wound, but I'm totally going to rub salt in the wound. It wasn't the Braves. it wasn't the Braves, man. That team. So we got two teams with a bright future, but at least Georgia State might end up winning half their games. I want to talk about gold medal talk really, really quick. Coming up to the end of the show. But a lot of U.S. players have been criticized for their opinions on gold medals and their weight compared to an NBA title. That DeAndre Jordan says that he thinks that winning a gold medal is of greater importance. It's better than winning an NBA championship. He's been criticized for that. Carmelo Anthony, who doesn't have any championships, has said, that if he won 3 gold medals in his career and no championships, and he's closer to the end of his career than the beginning, he'd consider that a successful career. Kyrie Irving even said that he thinks that gold medals are on par with championships, and he just won one. And it's interesting to me only because people feel the need to criticize all of these athletes and tell them, no, championships are more important. Championships are more important. You're just saying that because you've never won a championship, and it doesn't look like you'll ever be on a team that'll win a championship. And I think I was listening to Colin Cowherd today. Nick Wright was on the show filling in for Colin, and I thought Nick made a fantastic point about us telling athletes, we're telling them how to weight these things. When was the last time you played for an NBA championship? When was the last time you played for a gold medal? And here we are, arrogantly telling these guys where these medals should weight for them. Oh, you trade your medal in for a championship ring yesterday. You don't know that. You have no idea. And another great point that got made that I completely agree. All of the guys on Team USA, all these guys are good players. You may not be the reason Team USA wins a gold, but you're all good players. There are plenty of bad basketball players that win championship rings. You can't judge Carmelo Anthony's career based on a championship he didn't win, but Harrison Barnes got one. I think we could all say that Carmelo Anthony is a better basketball player than Harrison Barnes, right? And yet here we are, ring counting. I'm telling you, it's a flawed metric, and you cannot use it to determine who is a good player and who isn't. You're listening to Hot 1240, Hot News Talk Radio, Clutch with Keon Rose. Thank you for joining us today. Special thanks to Miss J and to Anna Baker in the Clutch Community Corner. Remember, it's not how you start, it's how you finish. Stay clutch. I'll see you in 24 hours. Sons of Liberty next.
You give us 12 minutes and 40 seconds, we'll give you Chattanooga and the world.
News Talk 1240.
With every election, the government always gets in. You're right to be angry. We have no free market, red tape everywhere, taxes crushing. There's no level playing field. Tomorrow may be a day of reckoning. But there is something you can do. It's personal safety, personal security. Shooter supply and indoor range. Find the handgun or long gun suitable to you. Take a concealed carry permit class. Use Shooter's roomy indoor private shooting range. Get